Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wonderful YouTube subscribers. Thank you for joining me today. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about 3 things you need to stop worrying about or focusing on or doing on your speaking exam. So, pay attention, guys. Take notes, because I'm also going to tell you what you should be doing instead. And remember, all of our strategies, all of our advice is directly linked to the scoring system to get you that 7 or higher. All right? We're not going to give you any bad advice at IELTS Energy. Don't worry. Okay, so first, guys, in part 1, don't worry about using formal linking words. Part 1 is informal. These questions are personal, okay? They're about you. So stop using linking words like thus, therefore, moreover. Guys, they sound weird in part 1. Don't use them. The way we have appropriate cohesion and coherence is to use more informal fillers and conjunctions. So words like, you know, well, so, this is what native speakers do. It's appropriate, it's natural, and then of course conjunctions, and, or, but, yet, for, nor, so. Those are all fine, okay? Where you want to use fancy linking words is in part 3, okay? So remember, guys, a lot of what you're graded on is how natural you are speaking. So if it's not appropriate, it's not natural, all right? Okay. Now, for the second thing, in part 2, don't worry about having a perfectly organized answer with a conclusion. It is nigh impossible to organize your answer like perfectly while you're talking and thinking, and to include a conclusion in this 2 minutes. Guys, you're not graded on that. The examiner doesn't care if you have a perfectly organized answer with a conclusion. I did a video recently about how to acceptably go off topic in part 2. Again, this is natural. While we're talking, our brain is making connections, right? So you can say, on a side note, and like add something that's not exactly part of your part of the topic. So guys, remember just to let it flow. Let your communication flow, okay? Don't worry about having a conclusion in speaking part 2. All right. The last thing to not worry about is regarding speaking part 3. Don't freak out or stress yourself out about having complex, academic, impressive ideas in part 3. Even for native speakers, it's tough, all right? You're nervous. Just really, the first thing that comes to mind. Communicating is way more important than saying, while you try and search for an idea, okay? So, when you try and get really high-minded with your response in part 3, it can end up being unclear about what you're trying to communicate. So that's one reason, okay? Now, what ideas do we come up with? If the first thing you think of is a personal example, like a friend or neighbor or you, say it, that's fine. As long as you're using formal vocabulary, it's fine, okay? But also remember, we don't want to only use personal examples in part 3, so do try to include more general examples based on society, such as your culture, your city, your country, where you live now, etc. Stuff you read in the newspaper, okay? So again, guys, you need to be reading and listening widely in your IELTS preparation so you have stuff to say in speaking part 3. Okay, so there's also that. You do need to have stuff to say. Also, as a last note, guys, it is very important in part 3 to be specific, okay? So complex ideas, complex, general, high-minded stuff is out. Specific, direct information is in for speaking part 3. Okay, guys, that's it for me. If you are ready to begin your committed IELTS journey, look no further than 3 Keys IELTS. Everything you need is there. Go to allearsenglish.com/KEYS, and I will see you in the course. Okay, that's it for me today. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you next time.